man, he appears.
I believe in scoops.
Acknowledge me, the one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It Scoops. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. One more round of the AFL season left. The 10 teams are unfortunately set. That being said, the top 6 is not even set. Carlton are officially in the wildcard round. And let me give you Carlton fans some education lessons, because you need it, and you still need it. They're celebrating, bragging that they've made the final series. I mean, I thought it was pretty self-explanatory that you haven't made finals potentially at all yet. You may make it, but you haven't yet, because the fact of the matter is, simple as this, you have not made it yet because, let's just say, you've made the wild card situation and stage. You've made the wild card stage. That's an opportunity to play finals. If you were to win a wild card matchup, then you would qualify for finals. Making the wild card and losing does not mean you played finals. So get an education lesson. Carrying on like you won the premiership yesterday in the draw. Now, I understand that the draw qualified you for wildcard and all that, but the carry on like you beat the Western Bulldogs, big deal. They're very mediocre at best and didn't have some of their better players playing, and you had the umpires in the AFL protect you and hand you a wildcard position because you've got more fan base than some of the other clubs around fighting for that spot. That's the only way and only reason you made it. Josh Fraser is officially being announced the coach today. So well done to Josh Fraser for becoming the Carlton head coach. Unfortunately for you, Josh, when your team starts losing, like they did to Vossi, they'll have a go at you like they bullied TDK and Jack Silvani and Charlie Curnow out of the Blues. Matt Kennedy as well. I'm sure they'll do the same. I'm sure, and to Vossi. I'm sure they'll do it to you, Josh, but hopefully that's not the case because you don't deserve the bullshit that their fan base has given to their previous coach in Vossi, some of their previous players in Jack Silvani, Tom De Koning, and Charlie Curnow in particular, and Matt Kennedy and more as well. They even turned on Harry Mackay. I'm surprised he hasn't tried leaving yet, because why would he? Charlie Curnow summed it up perfectly. He wanted to get out of that Victorian Melbourne bubble because he couldn't deal with the bullshit. And that is headlined by the Carlton fan base, who are absolutely bottom of the barrel. Simple as that. What we're going to mention on the show today, it was like a mini scoop series bang there. So we're going to go through the team of the week, Supercoach talk, and everything in between. We're going to review the round just gone and upcoming. I'm going to mention some news, and I'm going to do that in just a second. But we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all. Cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players or any state league players, and you want to see them on the channel in a Gold King Challenge and/or interview, please do send me a message, and we'll get something sorted. All right, let's start with the news. Now, there was a lot of retirements that have happened in the last week or so. I mentioned on social media posts for a lot of these players, in fact, all of these players. But the ones I want to mention on here, congratulations to Tex Walker and Steele Sidebottom on amazing careers. Obviously, both these guys will be playing in a final series. At worst, a wildcard position as well. So, one on to both Pendles. Pendles will probably still play on next year. One on to Steele Sidebottom and Tex Walker on amazing careers. They're going to be dearly missed at those clubs at the end of the season. Adelaide got a lot of key forward depth with Darcy and Thilthorpe. There's others I've had in a blank. But they got a lot of key position depth. You know, Archie Ludowick, Mitchell Marsh, people are forgetting about as well, the future of their forward line. They got, what's his name? Tyler Welsh as well, waiting in the wings to get an opportunity. Obviously, he'll be behind Ludowick and Mitch Marsh, but a lot of depth there. Tobin Murray as well, they've got as well. And Murray, if he stays at the club and doesn't go to North Melbourne or someone else. James Borlase is apparently about to sign a 3-year deal, so that's good for him and the Crows. Jordan Butts is on the way out probably to a Victorian club. They got a lot of depth there. So they got covered for Tex, but he'll be a big figure at the club that will be dearly missing that forward line because he's still playing good football, to be honest. Still Sidebottom, you know, what an amazing career. He's had premierships, everything. Superstar, you know, just a great player and seems like a great person. Still Sidebottom. Silky mover, just a very smart player like Pendles, and he will be missed at the Pies. So went on to Still Sidebottom on an amazing career. Obviously the Pies put out a long form retirement speech and everything like that with Steel Sidebottom and everything like that. So 1 and 2, those gentlemen on their careers. Obviously Dion Prestia and Nathan Broad retired on the weekend. Prestia hasn't officially retired; it's just a Richmond retirement. He's obviously had a great career in the AFL. Prestia in particular, and Nathan Broad played his last game on the weekend as well. Alrighty. Now, some other news. Bailey Humphrey is remaining at the Gold Coast Suns to the end of 2030. You know, 1 minute he wants to leave, then he doesn't want to leave, then he wants to leave, then it's Melbourne, it's Collingwood, it's Hawthorn. He's meeting with all them coaches, with King and Mitchell and McRae. It's like, so what's going on, Bailey Humphrey? Well, he's still another year to go, and Dimar saying he wasn't going anywhere. Well, that's actually proven to be correct until at least the end of 2030. That's a bit of a shock, to be honest. And Tom Sparrow is remaining at the Melbourne Football Club for another 5 seasons and won't be joining the Port Adelaide Football Club. I mean, why would you want to join the Port Adelaide Football Club unless you want to be in the bottom of the barrel, bottom 4 range, if not in the bottom 4 for the next few years, with who are going to lose Zach Butters and over time may lose some other big name players as well. So there you have it. All right, that's some news off the top. Now, let's officially get into that world famous segment. Scoops goes bang. Okay. The umpiring at the end of the Bulldogs game in particular was a disgrace. Now, we all know that the Western Bulldogs, Carlton, Geelong and Hawthorn are all severely protected by the AFL. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty clear to know that. And if you don't know that, well, now you know. So, in this game, the equation was simple. Well, St Kilda beat Richmond. So, after that, if Carlton had lost to the Bulldogs, then this week, or now next week, or was next week, now this week, against Freo at Marvel, if they were to lose that, which they should, and St Kilda beat Gold Coast on Thursday night, which we should, St Kilda would be playing in the wildcard position, and Carlton would not. So the AFL knew going in, they had to let Carlton win because of the fan base they have in terms of the membership numbers and everything like that, the amount of numbers they pull at crowds. That's all the AFL care about. If you don't think that, you're delusional for not thinking that. The AFL simply wanted Carlton in. It's one of their favourite clubs. Now, the Bulldogs are still severely protected. That's not changing. But in this game, I'm sure the AFL told Bevo and the Bulldogs, sorry, we're going to screw St Kilda over. So we're going to let Carlton win this. I'm sorry. Or draw this at worst. Now, Ed Richards did not run or have more than 15 steps or meters, okay? And then when he handballed it to Norton, Norton kicked it to a Bulldogs player in the open space in the forward 50, who would have run into an open goal with about a minute to go. Game over, Western Bulldogs win. But no, the Bulldogs weren't robbed. St Kilda got robbed, and they weren't even in this game because the AFL have it out for St Kilda, just like Kane Corns does. They have it out for the Saints, and to avoid St Kilda being in that position, they had to let Bulldogs draw the game, Carlton draw the game or win the game. So this was the next best thing. The AFL try and, the AFL they just have their favourites. It's bullshit. It really, really is. Now, people will say, St Kilda just weren't good enough. You played Carlton 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I get that. We weren't good enough against Carlton 2 weeks ago. But overall in the season, we were better. We competed against the best side, Sydney, twice. Got screwed over both times from umpiring, and if you don't believe that, you're delusional. The Brisbane game, we had all the momentum up at three-quarter time, and then the umpires decided to be dodgy and help them out. And then the Freo game in Perth, we were up at three-quarter time, and the umpires came in there. Gold Coast and Darwin were up early as well. The Geelong game, we got it to 8 points or so in the third quarter, and the umpiring protected Geelong the whole game like they do every single week. We had a long injury list of irrelevant players, unlike some other clubs. We had Naz out for a combined, after this week, will be roughly at least 6 weeks. De Koning, Flanders has missed half the season. Marshall missed a few weeks. Sharman, Owens, Higgins. Our whole four-line was out at one stage except for Sharman. Sharman's been out himself a few times now. Jack Sinclair and Sam Flanders, our co-captain and one of our marquee recruits, have been out for the bulk of the season. They're star players, who missed a bulk of our players this year at large quantity amounts as well. People seem to forget that. We had one of the hardest fixtures this year. We had played the most interstate games in the first 12 rounds of any side, or somewhere along those lines, 12 rounds or 9 rounds or whatever it was. We had like 6 interstate trips in the first 9 rounds. Like, it's bullshit. 2 games in Adelaide, 2 games in Perth, 2 in Sydney as well. It was like, we are better than the Carlton Football Club. They just happened to get lucky and have umpiring on their side throughout the year, which is why they're in the position they're in. This is the same team Voss had. Now, if this was any other week for the Western Bulldogs, I am very confident that Ed Richards would not have been pinned for running too far. It would have been play on, nothing to see here. So we got robbed, we being St Kilda got robbed, purely for the fact that they wanted Carlton in over us. And Carlton fans, again, you need an education lesson. You have not made the finals at this current stage. You've gotten into the wildcard, which is an opportunity to play finals. You're in the top 10 bracket. Last time I checked, finals is 8 sides. 2 teams in the wildcard will be knocked out. So if you were to be knocked out of the wildcard, you wouldn't have played finals. And if you make the finals somehow, and you lose your first final, that would then also mean you haven't won a final. If you were to win a wild card, you haven't won a final. You've won an opportunity to play in the final series. And currently, as we speak, right now, you've qualified for an opportunity to play finals via the wild card. There's a massive difference from playing finals and playing wild card. Get an education. You people are delusional. Your fan base and people online carrying on, we're winning the premiership and all this delusional crap they're running with. Please, you ain't winning shit. If you come up against Adelaide or Collingwood, you're going to lose. If it's Melbourne, if it's Geelong even, you're going to lose. Or maybe not Geelong, because they're overrated as well. But if you play Adelaide, Collingwood and Melbourne, you're going to get absolutely destroyed, removed from the wild card, and you can go to Bali in September as well. along with the other teams that didn't make it. Because at the end of the day, if you make the wild card, right, which you now have, which is ridiculous, and you get eliminated in the wild card, wouldn't you rather not make it? Because now you're going to get a worse draft pick. So, here we are. Carlton fans, you are completely delusional. And the amount of abuse Carlton fans are giving me lately, which is ridiculous. And, just the amount of abusive messages you send and bullshit you say. When we had the Spuds game, right, the amount of disrespect you gave Naz, laughing at a poor guy going through a fucking injury who had his hamstring injury, a very bad hamstring injury. You booed Jack Silvani and Tom De Koning in Spuds game of all games. That's where you do it, which is showing the disrespect Carlton fans are for the people involved that were doing the booing. Obviously, not 100% of the fans are like that for Carlton, but a large portion of them are. When you boo them in that game, you laugh and abuse Naz for tearing his hamstring. And then after the game, you're making these memes of Tom De Koning, some AI bullshit of De Koning and De Koning and Silvani and all that, like crying, doing these money bag things, abuse and threatening messages towards those players as well. And I've seen plenty of people comment shit. I've shown some examples last week on this podcast of Carlton fans abusing and laughing at the Naz injury. I've shown that on my podcast last week. So go and check that out. It was all over the internet with that. Comment sections on posts about Naz's injury, about St Kilda's loss and the AFL posting it and whatnot. Carlton fans, how about you actually just enjoy the moment you're in, okay? How about instead of pot-shotting other players and clubs for no reason, Silvani, De Koning and that left. Get over it. They left. Get over it. They wanted to go to a club that respects them, where their fan base respect them. Curnow is going to win the Coleman this year. Silvani and De Koning, albeit not in the final series, got to enjoy career best seasons. Well, especially Jack Silvani. And De Koning had some injuries throughout the year. And he shared the ruck with Marshall, but still had a great season, TDK. Carlton fans, get over yourself. It's embarrassing. Hope you all enjoyed that edition of the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, we're going to get an update on Geelong's situation here. That's been talked about the last few weeks with Geelong. Of course not. We're hearing nothing about that now. Jay Clark, keep at it, mate. And Michael Warner and everyone like that going at Geelong, continue to do so. Now it's time to go through my scoops. Round 23, AFL Team of the Week. From the back line, the pockets, N. Haynes and Bodie Hewland. Full back, Callum Wilkie. Back line, the flankers, Brad Hill, the king of the hill, Bradley Hill. And Lockie Ash, centre half back, Jack Silvani. Wingers, welcome back, Jack McRae and N. Dacos. Centreman, the top 50 superstar, All-Australian lock. Well, he should be. He will be in mine. Max Hall. Half forward line, the flankers, Isaac Heaney and Chad Warner. Centre half forward, N. Larkey. Forward pockets, Mitch Owens. And welcome back, Butler, Dan Butler. Full forward, Jai Amos. He wasn't missing on the weekend. Ruck, Rody Grundy, Rovers, Errol Goulden, and Isaac Rankin. Interchange, Logan Morris, Bailey Fritsch, Sam Swadling, Blake Acres, and Ed Richards. The emergencies, Will Ashcroft, Caleb Sarong, Luke Jackson, Jai Simpkin, Hugo Garcia, Josh Dacos, Kate Chandler, Ed Allen, Bailey Laurie, Callum Brown, Harvey Thomas, Tom Liberatore, and Ollie Florent. Yes, one of the longest emergency lists. I'm sure people will be sooking about that, but I thought I'd highlight the people's that were in the conversation. Now, okay, so I want to mention this. Actually, let me get the screen. We'll get the picture off the screen for a second. Congratulations to the King of the Hill, Bradley Hill, who plays his 300th game for the Saints this Thursday night against the Gold Coast Suns. Brad is a 3-time premiership player. He's an All-Australian level superstar. you know, when he joined the Saints, I thought, yep, we got a good one here. Was good. Was disappointing for his standards last year, but this year he's proven me and everyone else wrong that he can show this best level football. And he's been very, very good all season. In particular in the last 6 to 8 weeks, but the whole season has been pretty good. He celebrates his 300th game. So well done to Brad Hill on an amazing achievement. Good luck, mate. We hope we can get the win for you. And congratulations on an amazing milestone, Bradley. King of the Hill, Bradley Hill. Well done, mate. And well done to Jack Silvani, who celebrated his 150th game on the weekend. Jack Silvani's superstar and warrants his spot in the team of the week. So let's get the banner back up for you all. So Mr. Haynes from the Blues, he got about 13 intercepts and 26 disposals. Sorry, 11 intercepts and 26 disposals, deserves a spot. Cal Wilkie, very similar, 20 disposals, 13 intercepts. And Richmond's forward line was rubbish, like their entire team. Rabblemond is their new name. Bodie Hewlin, 20 disposals, 7 intercepts, played his part. Bradley Hill, he was awesome. He had over 40 disposals, and he just had like 16 touches in the first quarter. The king of the hill was Bradley Hill. In game 299 was probably the game of his career, or one of. He's had plenty of great games, Brad Hill, this year alone, let alone his career. So, just to show how good he's been, Brad Hill, this week in particular, because that's what we're talking about. 41 disposals, 11 marks, 83% disposal efficiency, 10 score involvements, and a goal assist. The king of the hill, Bradley Hill. Well done, mate. Jack Silvani, 20 disposals, 9 marks, 7 intercept possessions, a goal assist, 5 score involvements, and 6 1%ers and 6 rebound 50s. You can't dispute it. You just really can't. I know others will try, but in the end, you won't and you can't. Simple as that. Deal with it. Jack McRae, Lockie Ash, sorry, he had 36 disposals. He was really, really good. Jack McRae, welcome to addition back to the side. I feel like he should have been playing from the start. When the season's on the line, Jack McRae should have been in the whole way through, and he proved on the weekend why he deserved to be in the team and why he deserves to be in the team of the week. Jack McRae, 32 disposals, 22 of those 32 contested, 75% disposal efficiency. And then he had 5 intercept possessions, 5 score involvements, 12 clearances to go with 10 tackles. If Jack Higgins kicked straight on the weekend, he would have had a lot more score involvements / goal assists. So, Jack McRae, he's just a great decision maker. He's a very clean kick. He's not a big distance kick. He knows his limitations, but that's why he's the inaugural Scoops medal winner for games like this. Doesn't matter who it's against. He does this against every opposition he's been in throughout his entire career. Jack McRae, I was so happy when we got him across from the Bulldogs. One of the rare few good Bulldogs players that they have, and we stole one of them. So Jack McRae is a superstar, and that's why he's the inaugural Scoops medal winner as well. We love Jack McRae at the Saints. I know some fans have a go at him, but I can appreciate great players like Jack McRae and the career he's put together throughout his whole AFL career. Max Hall. How good is Max Hall? Top 50 player for a reason. You all look like idiots who laughed at me after one game start of the season. Max Hall, 1 goal, 40 disposals, 10 marks, 85% disposals efficiency, 4 score involvements, 4 goal assists, I should say, 12 score involvements, and 616 metres gained, along with 6 tackles and 10 inside 50s. Max Hall's a star, top 50 lock. Now I should have put him even higher on my list. But the fact of the matter is, every one of you laughed at me. I don't think there was really anyone that agreed in my decision. So you all should acknowledge that I was correct and you were wrong. I said this. I saw this in his form last year, Max Hall, and he's backed it up this year each and every single week. What an absolute superstar he is. We love the way Max Hall's going about it. He's a fan favourite at the Saints pretty quickly. I was a fan of his last year and when he joined the club, so at a Box Hill. So superstar Max Hall. He'll never play VFL footy or state league level footy again. He's a lock for AFL until he retires. And Dacos, he was pretty good. A goal in 36. You know, he just does what he does best, gets involved in big moments and keeps inside in the game all the time. Isaac Heaney, 3 goals, 29 disposals is very, very good. Mr. Larkey kicked 5 goals. The Chad Star, Chad Warner, 3 goals and 20 touches. A lot of those goals in the first half. He just damages the game. He takes the games away from sides very, very quickly, the Chad Star. Done very well. Mitchie Owens, one of the best games he's played this season, if not his best. 5 goals. He destroyed the crap out of Richmond. Changed the game in the first half with 3 goals early and consistently performed well. Started missing a few in the middle part of the game. Ended with a few to get to 5. Mitch Owens, a very good player. And people think he should be dropped. That's other fan bases. They have no education and don't know shit. And they should stay in their lane. Jai Amos kicked 5 goals. You know, very, very good from Jai Amos. Very impressed with the way he performed. Just, you know, from the Crows, in particular at the start of the game, he just took the game away from him. Just, you know, did very well, did Jai Amos. And I feel like he was probably their best on the ground for them. Butler. Dan Butler is back. 2 goals, 21 disposals. Love Dan Butler. I think he's a very good player. 2 goals, 21 disposals, 9 tackles. 81% disposal efficiency, 3 intercepts, 4 score involvements. Dan Butler doing what Dan Butler does best, 4 goals. 4 inside 50s. He could have got 4 goals, I guess. You know, he's a very good player. Him and Campbell Lake work well together. I must add that in case I forget to say that later. So they work in tandem very well with Higo as well. So they just do so well. Love the work Dan Butler's doing. Brody Grundy, over 20 disposals, dominating the ruck against Vigo Vizentini, but I'm not surprised. Luke Jackson was the next ruck chosen, by the way. Errol Goulden, 47 disposals. I mean, he was awesome. Isaac Rankin had 13 score involvements with a goal and 39 disposals. He was very good. Logan Morris kicked 4. Bradley Fitch kicked 3. Ed Richards was really good with 2 goals and 31 disposals, had like 9 clearances, and was robbed of an opportunity to win his side the game with that pass to Norton, and Norton's pass to an open Bulldogs player. Might have been Riley West. I don't know who it was, but it was a Bulldogs player. Couldn't tell. The camera angle was too bad. Blake Acres was really impressive, and he's probably the reason why, besides the umpiring in the AFL, that Carlton drew that game and qualified for finals. Qualified for a wildcard. Right now I'm talking like Carlton fans delusional. They're not in the finals, and they probably won't make it. If they do, they're going to lose their final. Blake Acres was very impressive. A goal in 32. In that last quarter alone, he just changed the game for Carlton and kept them in it. When Bulldogs were surging, he was just involved in everything, in particular in the last 10 minutes. So he deserved his spot in the team of the week. And Sam Swalling, you know, drew the game for his side. That spoiled 29 disposals. Sam Swadling, people say Collingwood don't have good young players. Well, Ed Allen had a goal in 28, and Sam Swadling had like 29 disposals. Let me get his stats up. He was really impressive. So 29 disposals, 7 marks, 83% disposal efficiency, 7 intercepts, 6 score involvements, and a few clearances as well at 660 metres gained. He was great. Probably the best player on the ground, to be honest, in the Pies game, Sam Swadling. Will Ashcroft next mid, along with Sarong and Jai Simpkin, Hugo Garcia as well, and Ed Allen, Harvey Thomas and Liberatore. And all them other players were very stiff. There's a lot of good depth to choose this week. Mitch Georgiades wasn't considered. I know he kicked 4 and had 15, and some of the other players in there got in for similar numbers, but he got it when the game was over, 2 of his 4 goals. So you narrow that down. It was like 2 goals and 8 touches in the other 3 quarters. So that's why he didn't get it, but he still had a good game nonetheless. So that's my team of the week. Comment down below what your thoughts are on that. I think it's a great side, like they are each and every week. But it was hard to choose the team this week. The bench kept changing. So Rong and Jai Simpkin and Will Ashcroft and Garcia were all in that team at one point. So, you know, Callum Brown, I couldn't fit him in as well. So, you know, it is what it is. Comment down below what your thoughts are on the team of the week. All right, let's go through my Supercoach talk. I was really, really happy scoring 2,362 with no Naz. Sheezel off at halftime. And I've gone up in the rankings from top 11 to top 9%. Very good with 1 round to go in some grand finals in my league matchups. Really happy with that score, in particular with Sheezel being injured and no Naz, so less premium. And some players like Petrarca shitting the bed again. Really happy with that. Speaking of Petrarca and the people that had good or shit performances, let's get them on the screen for you all to see. Right. Whitfield, 109. Not bad. Hewland, 90, was robbed of multitude of points. Lockie Ash, 144, awesome. Josh Worrell, 48, pathetic. Not happy with that. Although he was robbed of at least 30 points. So I want to soften the blow there. Hugo Hawker-Hahn, 61, whatever. And I had to play him. He got 52 because no Naz and no trades left. And Dagos was my captain, 110, pathetic. Should have scored more, though, so it's the Supercoach system's fault. I had it on Luke Jackson, who got like 110 as well, so which was whatever, but he was on 62 at halftime, Jackson. I thought he's easily going to get a massive score, and he didn't. Will Ashcroft, 120, awesome. Matt Rao, 118, very good. Lockie Neal, 65, not happy with that. He's better than that. I think he was tagged in that game. I didn't get to see that game. Brad Hill, the king of the hill, 139, awesome. If that was Marcus B, he would have got 220 points, so that's bullshit. Isaac Heaney, 169 points. That's amazing. Jordan Dawson, 107. It's whatever. Zach Merritt, 72. Back to shit scoring. Joel Fitzgerald on the bench, 69 points. All right. So the next one, Brody Grundy, 114. Awesome. Luke Jackson, 111. Good. Harry Sheasel, 59. Considering he played a half, that's very, very good. He was on 64 or something, and then it scaled down, which is also bullshit. It shows how the hell can that happen when he's not even on the field? How can he drop points? Chad Warner, 131. He was very good. 131 for Chad Warner, awesome. Zach Bailey, 114, very good. Tuke Miller, 55, pathetic. Back to the shit scoring he's done this year. Bailey Williams, awesome, 125. Petrarca, 34. What a fraud. Like, seriously, what the fuck? Leo Lombard on my bench, 55. I actually may consider putting Lombard on for Petrarca this week, but Petrarca plays against my Saints, and Petrarca normally does well against St Kilda, so I'll have to wait and see. Max Gorn, 139, really good. Yeah, so that's my team. Comment down below how you feel you're going. With one round here in my Scoops Fan Club League, let's have a quick look, actually, at how that's going. I'll just read a few of the names in there. I'm 31st in my league now, so out of 104. We've got Michael, which is Vic Park, on top. Jamie in second. Mike in third. Philip in fourth. And Daniel in fifth. So there you all go. All right, let's review the round 23 games, shall we? Not much to say. The season's over for some sides, so I don't really care now. Fremantle 112 to Adelaide 88. Freo by 24 points. You know, Adelaide were in this. Freo got away at the end. But this is a really good contest. Adelaide could have won this. They didn't. Dawson and Rankin and Co were some of their better players. Freo, Sarong, and Amos and Co. Luke Ryan had a milestone to one under him. But, you know, there you go. Richmond 45, St Kilda 94. St Kilda by 49 points. You know, we accounted for them very easily. Jumped them from the start. It was game over at quarter time. The Saints got the job done. I was really happy with the win. I know it's only Richmond. Mitch Owens, for the bulk of the game into the last 10 minutes when they got a few cheap goals, was outscoring Richmond at the same amount of goals as Richmond. It's actually pretty funny. So, you know, Richmond was shit. So no players deserve to get mentioned. Rechko was whatever. He had like 23, but he didn't use it well, as he's done some other rounds. But yeah, McRae, Hill, Hall, Silvani, Wilkie, Owens, Butler, McRae were all awesome, and it's great to see a four-quarter performance. That's how you do it. Port Adelaide 56, Melbourne 132, Melbourne by 76 points. Port Adelaide is shit. They're shit. You know, their fans accept mediocrity. Laurie and Fritsch and Chandler and Max Gorn were some of their better players. Port Adelaide, Georgiades kicked four, as I mentioned as well. And Ollie Wines had a good game with 31 disposals. I know I skipped some games, so I'm going to go back to them. North Melbourne, 110. Geelong, 125. Geelong by 15. No matter where at the stage of your development North Melbourne are at, how can you be up by about 40 points at quarter time, lose that lead in one quarter, and then lose the game? It's not good enough. Now, Geelong are protected, but you blew up that lead. Losing Sheasel just before halftime doesn't help, to a cheek injury, I think it was. But you still got O'Sullivan and McKercher and Larkey and Co around. Larkey kicked 5 and was good. But you got Griffin, Logan, Aiden Core, some experienced players in the back line, and they just couldn't get it done, and Daniel as well. So it's not good enough. Sean Manor was one of Geelong's better players. Brisbane 95, Gold Coast 53. Now, Gold Coast are very inaccurate. Gold Coast lost to Brisbane by 42 points. You know, Neil didn't have his biggest game. It's still done okay. Will Ashcroft, Levi Ashcroft, Zach Bailey, Logan Morris are some of the Lions' better players. Hawthorn and Collingwood, a draw again, 92. Again, essentially on the siren, both involving Dylan Moore, both having the same outcomes for draw. The goal in the first time, missing and not making the distance the second time. What the hell? That is the first time in history, apparently, that's happened. 2 draws between 2 clubs. You know, that's insane in the same season. Wow. I thought Collingwood were the better side. You know, Swadling and Allen and both Dacos brothers and co. It's a good end to the game. So, you know, is what it is there. Hawthorn didn't have any really major standouts. Josh Ward, I think, though, was okay. Gunson kicked a couple as well. Where are we? GWS 111 to West Coast 57. Giants by 54 points. West Coast started okay. They were leading. And then after that, it all went down the shit for West Coast after that. They were inaccurate in front of goal as well, which is disappointing for them. You know, Ash and Whitfield and Callum Brown were some of the leading players for the Giants. They'd be disappointed they're not in the wild card, the Giants, because them and the Saints are better than Carlton and Bulldogs. I'm telling you that right now. Speaking of the Bulldogs and Carlton, Western Bulldogs 82, Carlton 82, aka St Kilda were robbed and Carlton got handed the points in this game, partial points, which was enough to make them make finals. Gee, we don't see what you've done there, AFL. You ain't slick. You know, Ed Richards and Liberatore, some of the Bulldogs' better players. Riley West, I thought, popped up for a few goals and shots here and there and done all right. Carlton, Blake Acres was the difference for them. Cripps and Walsh done okay. But it is what it is there. Carlton are in the wild card. Yeah, I get it. But they're not going to do any damage in finals if they even make that far, because they haven't made finals yet, and they likely won't unless they play the Bulldogs again somehow, but I don't think that can happen. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens there, shall we? All right. Essendon and Sydney. Essendon 76, Sydney 112, Swans by 36. Jumped them out of the gate like a 7-goal lead. So well done to Essendon for fighting it out, something that Port Adelaide don't know how to do. They did their part, Essendon, but they were shit at the start, and they were chasing from there. Heaney, Goulden, Warner, Grundy, you know, were some of the better players, and they got the job done by 36. I think Dean Cox will be happy that that's how they won, you know, because they're a far better side than that, the Swannies. But, you know, it is what it is there. So we'll wait and see how the rest of the final series goes. Now let's review the last round and wrap this up, because the season is essentially over. Can't wait for the trade period. Thursday night at Marvel Stadium, it's St Kilda hosting Gold Coast, 7:30 Victorian time in Brad Hill's 300th game on. I'm Brad again. I'll be tipping the Saints in this one by 20 points. Friday night at the MCG, Collingwood and Brisbane, 7:40 Victorian time. I'll be tipping Collingwood in this one by 5 points. Sorry, I mean Brisbane by 5 points. Saturday at the Marvel Stadium, it's Carlton and Freo, 1:15 Victorian time. I'll be tipping Freo by 5 points. Freo, again, weren't convincing in their win over Adelaide, playing partial parts of games. Yes, I know winning's still good, but against the better sides and in finals, you're not going to get away with that every week. So Freo by 5. Melbourne and Bulldogs at the MCG, 4:15 on Saturday. I'll be tipping Melbourne in this one by 45 points. 7:45 at Shavers Stadium in Geelong. It's Geelong and Richmond, 7:45 Victorian time. I'll be tipping Geelong, unfortunately, by 70 points. 8:10 Saturday night at the Adelaide Oval. It's Adelaide and GWS. I would have considered the Giants if they were a chance for wildcard, but I think Adelaide will win, and they've got more to play for by 18 points. I think Adelaide should get the win there. So we'll see what happens there. And the games on Sunday, I just lost my notes. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here we go. Sunday, 12:20 at Marvel. It's Essendon and Port Adelaide. Who gives a shit? But I'll go. I'll go Port Adelaide by 1 point. 3:20 at the SCG. This is a double header to the women's game. So good luck to the Swans and North Melbourne girls and the clubs as a whole. in their two matchups at the SCG 320. The men are playing Sydney and North Melbourne. I'll be tipping Sydney to win this one by 40 points. And the last game to end the round, 7:20 p.m. at Optus Stadium. It's West Coast and Hawthorn, 5:20 Perth time. I'm tipping Hawthorn, unfortunately, by 18 points. 18 points. I can't even speak right now. 18 points. Carlton will win by, unfortunately. We'll wrap up the show with this. You want me on Cameo, cameo.com/Coopergin. If you know any AFL, AFLW players or any state league players, and you want to see them on the channel in a Golking Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message and we'll get something sorted. Thank you. And come on, Saints, get the win for Brad Hill. And the Saints have been robbed of making the top 10 thanks to the AFL.